Hello everybody and welcome to the GT1 World Series. We're here for round 3, the 1,000 kilometers of Westhill International, live right here from Westhill International. As the sun is setting, it's going to be absolutely beautiful, gentlemen. Chris Wilkinson here alongside me is both Thilo Falkenberg and Oscar Hardwick. And guys, we've had two very, very tight and very, very difficult circuits to negotiate. Now we come to Westhill, a much quicker track and a much more open track, Thilo. How do you think it's going to pan out differently?
Yeah, as you say, it's a much more flat out track. It's wider. It's I hope it's going to be less chaotic as the two rounds we already saw. That would really help the whole grid to get into some rhythm. Of course, the starting period will be crucial, but afterwards we can expect some, let's say, less chaotic racing, I hope.
So, Oscar, it's, as we said earlier, it's a different circuit and certainly a different setup for the guys. How do you set the car up for Westhill?
Well, Westhill's always one where gearing becomes far more important than it has been the last few rounds, simply because you're hitting higher speeds pretty much everywhere on the track. Another thing, even though I believe that we've seen XRRs win the first two rounds, this is the first track that is truly 100% for the XRR. It really lends itself to the power and the way in which the car handles, and whilst tyre wear is just a complete pain in the backside for everyone here, the fast corners just take chunks out of the tyre, and I believe that there's going to be issues with the FZRs today, where they may need to make one more stop than XRRs. So FZRs might actually be even more tentative on tyres today than the XRRs would be.
Yep, and Thilo, it's been very, very tight at the top of the championship standings so far. Only 6 points separating NX Racing, our championship leaders, and Genuine Racing 2. How do you think it's going to pan out with regard to the championship today?
Very good question indeed. Well, Genuine Racing has the advantage from the qualifying, so I think that they are in the better position. Oh, it's Genuine Racing 2 actually in the second. Ooh. Well, they still have. NX Racing showed a good pace in qualifying, so I think that they are again the team to beat, no doubt about it. Although they won't be good also to a lap. They were taken away. Yeah, it's really much depending on how these 1,000 kilometers work out, because it can be that we keep the current standings in the order at least. Virus seems to be good, maybe with a shot at third or second place even, depending on the race.
Yep, as we cycle through the championship standings, also of note, it is the lead of the amateur class, and Stig Breeding Program amateurs still lead that championship with 70 points, 16 points ahead of the second placed team. So it's all to play for, all over the championship standings. So then, as we look to the starting grid for today, as we look back from Stuart Baker's safety car here, I'll tell you exactly who it is on pole when I get the right screen up, and it is in fact Team Virus with James P setting a 129.16 to set the qualifying pace. Genuine Racing starts second, NX in third, Infinity Esports 4th, Ixion Sim Sports 5th, Core 2 in 6th, 7th goes to Conquest Racing Pro, 8th to Genuine Racing 2, and Team Virus 2 start 9th in the Pro class. All top 9 are Pro entries. Last Lap Motorsports get the pole position in 10th place overall as the opening amateur car. Second are Savage Sim Sports number 1. Stick Breeding Program Pro slot themselves in 12th place. World Class Lions start 13th, 14th goes to Conquest Racing Amateur. Scuderia Gas start 15th, ASX Motorsport 16th, Infinity Esports Amateur 17th, Team 6Q de Fondo start 18th, 19th to Green Angus Racing, 20th Hardwick Racing, Stick Breeding Program 21st, Last Lap Motorsports Bus and Last Lap Motorsports 23rd, 24th are Inex Racing number 2, and finally R-Force Amateur slot in 25th position as we go to our pole position car to Morgan Troller, who will set this race away. He's on the, what is effectively the right-hand side for you. The left-hand side now on your right is Dominic Engel driving that Genuine Racing car as we await the green flag for the 1,000 kilometres.
Green flag!
Westhill, a little bit of a contact in the back there, but it's a good lead, it's a good start from Dominic Engel. Inex Racing as well, Isaac Price with a good getaway.
Big crash!
There's a car there gone into the pit wall.
That was Ixion Pro have been turned, and I'm not sure if they might have been involved with some touching before the start even happened there. No doubt.
We're looking at the battle for the lead. It's side by side between Morgan Troller and Price, between Team Virus and Inex Racing, and it's Team Virus that come out on top, managed to side past. Meanwhile, battling between Dominic Lind and Dom Engel and Dennis Lind.
Phil Diaz off further back in Inex Racing number 2.
And it was Nicky Yakovic as well that ended up in the wall in the start line tussle almost. But as I say, it's Team Virus leading from Inex Racing, but they're Inex Racing and Isaac Price very racing coming in down the back straight in the inside for the chicane for turn number 10-11. It's a good move from Isaac Price there. Easy move. Morgan Troller didn't put up too much of a fight. He knows this is a long race. Should take around 5.5 hours, I believe. Get these 1,036 kilometres out of the way. But here comes Morgan Troller. He's not going to sit down, is he, guys?
No, well, Virez, obviously, they've not had the world's best start to the season, but they will want to be keeping themselves well out of all of the hustling and crashing that's going on behind us. It looks like someone else has come off further back. I'm not sure who that was. Looks like Stick Breeding Program has been on, so that's our GT1 points leaders have gone off further back as well and collected some damage on the left side of their car.
Yep, fastest lap goes by Isaac Price, our race leading car. With a 1:30.
And Gen 2's off. Gen Racing 2 has gone off. And
well,
Virus number 2.
Strange place to go off as well. He's going to have to be very careful rejoining here.
Virus 2's gone off again.
Another strange place to go off there, Oscar.
I think they were turned by the other Stick Breeding Program car when they came back onto the track. Because both cars were off, and then the original contact was to do with
yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt, we're battling for second place, and it's Dennis Lind who managed to get through on Team Virus. Team Virus going backwards here. They've lost 2 places in as many laps in the same corner. Backwards for Morgan Troller, but Dennis Lind takes second place. It's on the Hunter Isaac Price, Oscar.
Yes, well, shades of races past. Dennis Lind moving forward to try and attack the Inex Racing car that has been completely superfluous so far this season.
Good English language, Oscar. Good English language. In the final corner here, Campars and Dubter. That is the battle of
11th, 12th,
10th position.
10th even.
As that looks like Campars has got it, just about.
Yep, Campars driving that Suzuki car of Green Angus Racing, who haven't had the best time so far in the championship.
I believe, is this their first outing or is it their second?
I don't think so. I think I've seen them before. Green Angus have not participated, but did not haven't qualified. Yeah, it's the first one they made pre-qualifying according to our head guru.
Yeah, I thought they were new here in terms of actually racing on the day.
I'm sure I'd seen the name, but clearly only through pre-qualifying and things like that. So
Yeah, possibly.
Looks like I've got some timing out as well at the moment. Like that cars on the track though.
Nope, sounds like one of the administration team, so we'll keep watching here as Martin Capel has to try and hold off the Hellenic Racing team. Nesteras, who did a brilliant job last time out, and he got onto the pit straight. Isaac Price once again going faster. We'll stay with these ones as they come side by side down the pit straight. You can see that XRR with that little bit more growth. Thilo just being able to pull ahead. Quite easily lead him actually, I think. Yeah, Nesteras on the defensive from Last Lap Motorsports bus, Oscar.
Indeed, it wouldn't surprise me if you do see FXRs just racing with FXRs today. This has surely got to be one of their toughest races of the season. Both the other cars in class have just got so much more power, and on a power track as Ixion have gone at the inside of LLM Bus into the chicane, which is a nice clean move, everyone giving some room now. LLM Bus looking to fight back, but I just don't think they're going to have the power to do anything here.
And Ixion coming back from that opening lap incident, they're doing quite well to climb back. Nicky Jakovic is a very, very experienced driver here in the world of speed, isn't he? He seems to be doing a reasonable job, Oscar.
I imagine so. Maybe a bit of a red mist falling after getting spun off on the first lap of the race. Not for the first time, if you remember that he was rolled over at the previous round Fern Bay, as LLM Bus go back down the inside of Ixion Sim Sports, not to give them any breathing room, but I imagine that XRR power should get back by on this straight. Oh, and we've got a bit of fighting just up in front of them as Hellenic Racing and Savage Sim Sports go at it again, moving past, and that is 6th with Fondo Racing.
Virus in the pits. Looks like they have to repair some damage.
Believe that. Yeah, Virus number 2, so they're the car that had the coming together with Genuine Racing 2, and then another off into the wall.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jacob Cooper, our man in the Infinite Esports car, he's under a little bit of pressure from Martin Capel now, driving in that Savage Sim Sports number 1 XRR, who is himself under pressure from Hellenic Racing here on the straight, Oscar.
Indeed he is, and Hellenic looking to the outside, which you can do, because if you hold it on the outside, you've got the inside for the following corner. Has not quite done it, because Martin Capel there just slid the rear end of his car over the line that Hellenic Racing were wanting to take.
But now Garcia is coming. Taking a deep look for the position. Hellenic dives down to the inside.
Hellenic defending for all worth, and it seems to have done the job here. They hold on to their 14th place in the Westhill 1,000 kilometres. Garcia taking a little bit of a look. Garcia in the Team 6. Fondo on the lead is looking at the NDR tracker. Don't forget you can check all of the positions at tracker.ndr.com. As here comes Nicky Jakovic. Where did he come from? Flying down the inside of Garcia. Easy, I'll have that. And that is Jakovic and Ixion up to 15th place on their fight back through the field.
from what I understand, it almost looks like Ixie might have some engine damage, and if they're hit off on the start, they could have been in the low gear and then been driven into from behind and overrev that engine, which in a race this long, on lap 1, that could be pretty catastrophic for them.
Oh, it would be a very, very unfortunate set of circumstances for them, and would almost put the day at an end, wouldn't it, in a serious competitive viewpoint. But clearly Nicky wants to fight on and wants to keep going here, and he hasn't been slowed down so far. It's still in the...
Oh, Martin,
Nicky Jakovic is off goal as Kapal. Kapal running wide in the final corner, letting quite a few cars by.
There's been a small contact between him and the 69. At least from what we get, we have got a little piece of information extra for the commentators, showing us where contract happens.
Yeah, but in the past few races, we've had screens completely full of contact messages because we've been at Falkenberg, you know, we've been at Blackwood, but it's been quite a nice morning with not morning. What am I on? Evening. It's sunset, of course it's evening. Here, managing chat stuff on our screen. It's quite nice.
Oh,
Kapal
really
mixing.
Yeah, that was not the way you're supposed to drive through chicane.
Oh, and Ixion having a go at Hellenic Racing. They've got the move done long before the corner. Maybe that engine damage is something that I'm making up in my own head.
Yeah, well it was against an FXR, all that. FXR is fighting back heavily. Nestoras still wants the place, ran a little bit wide there to Nicky Jakovic, losing a bit of traction. And this could be Nestoras coming back. He does have slipstream, he does have the ability, but can he silent down the inside? Can he be a little bit later on the brakes? He's certainly going to try it here. Down the inside goes Nestoras, he holds on to it for now. That XRR still just alongside, should have the power to certainly pull alongside, if not all the way past Oscar.
Well, if it doesn't, then you would argue that there's some engine damage there, but as you see, even before the first corner, he's gone through, gained position, so maybe Nicky Jakovic just biding his time and not wanting to cause himself any more issues this race, as we've got some side-by-side further back as Phil Diaz has gone off, as has one of the LLM cars, the number 5 Pro entry.
Yeah, Nathan Lamoth still going side by side with Saki, that's LLM and Stig breeding program going side by side. Phil Diaz still wanting to be a little bit racy, making contact with the LLM car. Contact
yeah, he's
here.
fighting.
Yeah, down the inside,
America versus Canada.
Diaz. And guys, contact like that does tend to end in touching the grass, which here, with the short walls, does tend to, with the short runoff areas, does tend to get you in the wall. Here comes Lamoth fighting back down the inside of the chicane. Phil Diaz is going to try and hold around the outside, like Oscar said was possible, and he proves it there, does Phil Diaz. Around the outside he goes, has the inside for the second part of the chicane, and a tidy move.
Indeed it was, but again, Nathan Lamoth isn't going to let him sleep just yet. There's one more passing opportunity this lap, and he's going to try and use it.
There he goes.
But Diaz holding the outside again.
Oh, there you go, that's not working for him. And the short
too
runoff.
aggressive on the inside. Too aggressive, lost the grip, and then puts off Phil.
Yeah, I think they both pushed into the corner. The problem there, of course, is that that's just going to run you both wide.
Without a doubt. And that drops Phil Diaz and in X Racing number 2 quite way back. They climbed up to 20th from their qualifying position, right at the back. Their fight halted for a while. Meanwhile, their teammate, however, Isaac Price, is leading this race by a comfortable margin now. 4.25 seconds separates him and Dennis Lind. It's a big gap in such a short amount of time gone. 10 laps of the 200. Meanwhile, Peterkanen, driving that core racing number 2 car, has a little bit of a trail there behind him. The Conquest Racing and the last lap Motorsports car, Gadget and the Jua, respectively, both riding quite close to the back of Pitkanen's XRR.
Yeah, another thing that I was informed by a couple of the XRR teams prior to the race is that you might see XRRs at this stage taking it easy because of the slim possibility that they can do the one less stop. And if you think that tyres and fuel is going to be, 30 to 40 seconds, and especially with the drive change as well, if you can save that amount of time, then you can afford to go easy at this stage in the race.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jacob Cooper been off in the final corner. Again, running wide, and that's dropped him a lot of places. He was in a big gap, and he's gone from 11th all the way down to 18th position. So that's an absolute disaster for Infinity Esports. And it's a mistake that we're going to see quite a lot of as well. It's a very easy mistake to make, isn't it, Oscar?
It is. I mean, as soon as you lock up, if you're not down in the dip of the apex entering that final corner, then the chances are that you're going to understeer off. All have to go so slowly anyway as Jacob Cooper's trying to have another accident by the looks of it. He's going to be under pressure from stick breeding program down the next straight, if not before, as he's going wide with all the dirt on his tyres.
Oh, through wide. With the Genuine Racing car. Did I spot it right? Yeah. Oh, contact!
Oh. Everybody's gone
Jacob
off.
Jacob Cooper is off in the gravel there. I think it was it Passanen that was also broadside?
It was A6 Amateur was off in the gravel trap, but that was a complete separate incident. As they're now under pressure from Inex Racing too.
Now one could argue about a yellow flag situation and stuff. Oh,
Jacob Cooper's gone off again in the final corner.
You're not at the rally car, mate. And now
Jacob, in fact, peeling off in the pit lane, yes. So maybe car troubles underlying here with his problems, but something we probably will never know. Well, actually, we can know if we just go and look on the server, but I haven't even my brain gear to do that. No damage there, unless it was just tyre damage. Overheating tyres.
I think
he had quite some lockups, didn't he?
He did, but looking at it, it was all to do with the front right, which had caved in basically, and that was causing him the understeer in the final corner. So not repairing damage to me would be a poor move. Yes, you lose time, but it's a long race, so better to lose it now than later on. It looks like he's just gone and got drive-through penalty on the exit as well, so that's going to lose him a lap because Inex Racing #1 leading the race is less than a straight behind now.
Yeah, meanwhile we're watching these two, Garcia and Jakovic. Gracia and Jakovic, that is Scuderia Gas and Ixion respectively. Ixion, as we know, fighting his way back through the grid after his off in the actually on the pit straight on the opening lap. Whilst a quiet race so far for Scuderia Gas. They've sat in that hole between Nestras and Helenek in that battle, and the battling in front around Pitkanen. Another off there for somebody. A lot of grass. It's Salkas who's had his excursion.
I should mention that we've got two Garcias, so if you...
Oh, we haven't, have we?
Yeah, the one is David, one is Daniel.
Yes, and in fact, in the tracker they've had their names spelled differently to reflect that, which is quite nice for me.
Yeah, but only a dot on the I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know how that is called.
Yeah, that weird slightly. Yeah.
But in Live for Speed, you really cannot tell apart these two, except for the start number, of course. But pure name. I mean,
well, this could be the chance that Nick Jakovic needs to make the move. There he comes down the inside, putting the car in the gap. Easy peasy, St. Greavesy, says Nicky Jakovic. Yeah, move done for Ixion Simsport, back up to 10th place, fighting away. But a big gap up back, to Campars in 9th. Although Garcia could come back here. Jakovic showing him the outside and not willing to commit. Garcia, yes, Garcia.
yeah.
I've said that about 10 seconds ago and it just slipped my mind. I have no idea how that happened.
moment I thought it was possible that Garcia, well, let himself drag up to the next amateur car, which would be...
In X Racing 2, making a move on R4 into turn 1.
Yep, turn 1 flat out here, isn't it? Yeah, it will be.
I'd hope so.
You're doing something wrong if you're not, let me tell you. You're in a UF1. Something stupid. So yeah, it's a fairly easy manoeuvre so long as you get the car in the correct position to make a move in turn number 1. Yeah. Meanwhile, we have a battle between Garcia of Scuderia Gas, that we saw earlier, and Hellenic Racing Nestorat. He's looking fairly racy. Camped up behind that car of Garcia. We're riding on board with Nestorat now in his FXR. The FXR not normally a strong car here, Oscar.
Well, no, and I mean, if anyone can drive an FXR well around a track, it tends to be Hardwick Racing. So the fact that they're only running 12th really tells you something, especially as the last couple of races they've ran top 10 quite a lot of the time. And they're nowhere near a top 10 at the moment because Nicky's just going to pull away at this stage, and I can't see them actually going any quicker or pulling away from Scuderia Gas even if they do get past.
Yeah, well, it's a long race yet. We've still got a chance of some attrition rate. Not only a major factor here at Westhill, but meanwhile here does come Nestorat, and the Greek managed to side past Kaplan.
Yeah, and he actually had to jump shortly on the brake because otherwise he wouldn't have gotten around the bend. Now Kapal's coming from behind. And the green and grey Savage Sim Sports image car.
Yep, we're riding on board from the back of Garcia's car now. You can see those shining lights of Martin Kaplan, who has actually charged through quite nicely, hasn't he? He's been very, very busy in that Savage Sim Sports car today.
Yeah, well, he's been pushing it and has actually been off the final corner once or twice, I believe, which is what's put him further back than he was. As Genuine Racing 2 have just gone and made a move behind Kapal, and that is on...
It's on Katila of
World Class Lines.
World Class Lines, yes. Also very nice to notice that as I cast my eyes over to the tracker, there's not as many numbers anymore. Which is a brilliant thing, if you ask me.
Does the presence of numbers just scare you off a little?
Oh, it spells death. I mean, I genuinely cannot understand when I have a genuine 3, whatever. It just kills me.
Okay. Well, we've still Savage Sim Sports 1 and Savage Sim Sports... Oh, there's only one.
Well, meanwhile, Savage Sim Sports number 1, the only one, is under a lot of pressure here. Side by side goes Nops and Kalita behind. They're going to try even and go 3 wide around the outside, but it's going to be Nops for Genuine Racing 2 trying to go the long way around into the chicane of Martin Kapal. Hasn't worked. Kapal's got a much better run and cleared himself nicely. Jacob Cooper's taken his drive-through penalty. He'll now be a lap down. In fact, he is a lap down, but Nops now has to try and defend from this world-class Lions car. Does so nicely, hold the car in the middle of the road. A little bit squirmy under braking there though. This could lead Kanila to a decent run.
Not really, it doesn't look like he really got through the corner right. So Nops should be in place to defend the position.
Looking at tyre temperatures as well, it almost looks like World Class Lions are running higher wings than Genuine Racing number 2 are.
Oh!
Although they've just disproved me by going sideways.
Drift.
Oh! And then smacked off the track.
Oh dear.
Nothing really there Garcia could do. Couture was just sitting there in the middle of the road and of no fault of his own.
Garcia was coming around the corner, and then suddenly there's someone slow on the driving line.
Yeah, it's just coming over the brow of that hill, and bang, there's a stationary car. So unlucky for both Couture and also Garcia, who is now under pressure from Phil Diaz, who after a torrid early time is over 17th in that NX Racing 2 car.
Ooh, contact! Contact between those two, and now Phil Diaz to the inside. Yeah, I think Phil is the name which appeared on our little in-sim list the most today. All the time we saw him. All the time he was down the grid, there was sometimes the message Phil Diaz made contact with someone else. Yeah, might have something to do that he didn't really do any training. He said earlier, like 10 minutes before the race, he's not taking his first training lap. So we're close to a half hour of racing. We've got NX Racing number 13, car number 13 in the lead, in front of Infinity Sports Pro, Team Virus, Genuine Racing and Conquest Racing Pro. In the amateur class, we've got Last Lap Motorsports leading in front of Conquest, Green Angus, Hellenic and Scuderia Gas Racing.
Yep, everything's starting to sort of space out now a little with we haven't got an particular battle going on here. We do have this bunch of cars here around 16th, 15th sort of mark. Last drawing particular attention because I think every time I've seen this FXR, the FXR of Last Lap Motorsports bus come out of the chicane, it's been completely broadside. It's a brilliant spectator spot. Out of the pits comes Couture after his incident that he had obviously with the FXR just a lap ago. He wants some fixing.
I imagine that from what I saw of his car, he just wanted to not have red tyres. The damage to the tyres were ruined.
It certainly sounds like a good way of getting. Oh, we've got Vidoriaz off in the final corner. Sorry.
Looks like he spun on his own.
Yeah, on Team Virus. It's a very easy place to make a mistake. You drop a wheel onto that grass and away you go. And clearly he's just demonstrated that for us. Down to 23rd place for Team Virus 2. Certainly not emulating Morgan Troller, who's sitting in 3rd place in their number 1 effort.
Yeah, everything in, say, the top 10 or so positions is nice, spread out. Everyone's just setting their own pace. But back from there, I think there are still a few people that might be displaced from earlier incidents and whatnot. So racing still definitely going on from about 15th back.
Kapal over to Knobs there, the start finish straight, after Knobs made a mistake exiting the corner. And behind that, there are Lamothe and Diaz, who had to come together earlier in the race.
Yep, they did. You're right. Meanwhile, looking at the NDR IRC channel, where everyone have their little piece to say, and team bosses and team owners sit and discuss inverted commas. We do have an issue for the odd complaint regarding Jacob Cooper's blue flag etiquette, so we'll have to keep our eyes out on that. He is in fact a lap down, isn't he? So that's definitely something to keep our eyes out for.
It looks like he's keeping out of the way, but then at the same time I'm not 100% sure on the ruling of blue flags as to whether it is a move out of the way when you see it, or whether it's even your responsibility, so...
Side by side there between Garcia and Sacklas trying to get through. Oscar, you have news?
Indeed I do. Jacob Cooper just half span it coming through the first sector. So as though he wants his day to get ever so slightly worse at the moment. Sliding around as well, but obviously some of those team bosses will inform, because provided there's no crashing into one another or defending, we've just been informed, and that's someone's gone off as well halfway through the second sector. Who's that?
That was Daskovich for Cockles Racing.
He was running in 5th, actually, wasn't he? Not quite any damage.
Yes, he was running in 5th. That's a very good spot. So he's down to 8th position now. As we stand right now, 8th position, so... But it's moments like that are going to allow people to break into this top 10. It's a very achievable thing.
Well, neither. We've got a battle going on for 12th at the moment, as Martin Capel's gone up the inside of Garcia of Scuderia Gas Amateur, with Genuine Racing 2 sitting in the wings waiting for anything that goes on between those two.
Yep, quite a comfortable move there for Martin Capel. Managed to outbreak Garcia and the Scuderia Gas team quite comfortably. And here comes Knops trying to side his way past Garcia as well, although Garcia there almost looked like he was going to try and go around the outside of Capel. Not going to happen this time, no. They're going to stay line astern. But for how long? Here comes Garcia again.
Gracia, apparently, we're saying it wrong.
Gracia. We're saying it.
Gracia. Ah, okay.
Which is where the concerns are coming from us. There are not. Ooh! Oh, they're just trying to take chunks out of each other in the fastest part of the track.
Okay, then the one is called Gracia and the other Garcia, so there's a difference.
Okay, so now we feel like complete idiots, or at least I do. Yes, so great.
I was obviously just going off of what you said.
That's the theory, that if the first and the last letter of a word are to a certain pattern, and the word letters between are having the same number, that you automatically read one word. For example, there could be, for example, the word Westhill.
Ooh, sorry to cut you off there, but further back we've got last lap motorsports bus having a go.
Yes, around the outside time, but it's quite comfortably done before the apex of the first part of the chicane. And actual Garcia for Team 6Q.
And we've got Genuine Racing 2 making the move on Scuderia Gas into the final corner, but Scuderia Gas going to get a run here.
Oh, little sideways. No, drag race.
I imagine Knops will lift a bit to get the draft. There you go. And now I still think that Genuine Racing 2 are running fairly low winds on that car, so they should be able to hold position.
Ooh.
Either do, and Scuderia Gas is going to have to back off, otherwise it's going to be right up in the draft and not turned at all.
Yep, clever drafting there from Mr. Knops, managing to keep Gracia behind him.
It's been a while since I've spoken about him, but Nicky Dakovic has pulled the gap up to 9th position, which is Campar's, and is very soon going to be making moves on him.
He is, you're right, and that's a very noble effort from Nicky Dakovic. He's done very well so far to get himself up to the back of Mr. Campar's. For Green Angus Racing at their first start this season, as we've said several times. 129.75, new fastest lap as well from Isaac.
It's been unbelievable for Isaac Price. I'm not sure that he's actually had any heat leak in his tyres, because it's just been fastest lap after fastest lap this race. There's been no
because he's ginger. It's because he's ginger. That can be the only reason.
Well, Isaac pulled great pace throughout the Elephants Cup season, don't forget. So, yeah, it could just be that he's currently the fastest driver in this simulation.
No prejudice here at the GT1 World Series on Race TV.
We're all of the dark-haired rapscallions. Your hair, Oscar's hair is lovely. It's just a bit weird.
It's thick and flowing.
Otherwise, they
You can call me Goldilocks, only it's brown.
I just have a bird telling me that Green Angus Racing started the first race but didn't finish.
I knew the name.
Yeah,
I stand corrected.
0 points. So we have to correct this.
Yes, they did. You're right. I was looking at Green Angus Racing number 2 that haven't qualified.
And there are the numbers again.
Yeah. These number things.
Another interesting thing is that this is the first time so far this season we have not had a full grid. I believe that this is to do with some sort of disqualification going on during pre-qualifying.
It's a long thing.
A few wrong way infractions on going the wrong way on a racetrack. Guess what the problem with that might well be. So that's why the grid isn't as full today. But then again, it being Westhill, that's sort of lucky because you wouldn't expect the attrition to be as high as it was at Fern Bay or Blackwood. So hopefully we'll finish with more cars than we've been finishing with in recent rounds.
I don't think that's anything to shout to write home about, really. Especially at Westhill, which doesn't normally have a huge attrition rate, other than people pulling the plug because they're bored. I've known that, and I've heard that excuse a few times. Meanwhile, we're looking at nailing them off in that LLM number something. We'll have a number. They'll
5 is the
five?
Pro car, LLM Pro.
Oh, it's just LLM. It's just LLM. Okay. Yeah, so LLM.
Today it's LLM Pro, LLM Amnon XRR, and LLM Bus. They're represented in each car available in the series today. And I believe also they are the team with the most cars qualified into this race and have had the most cars qualified into races so far this season.
I think all of those stats are correct, except the fact that they're not called Last Lap Motorsports Pro, they're just called Last Lap Motorsports. And then there's another team that's also just called Last Lap Motorsport, but it's an amateur class. Seriously.
Ooh, that's why I put the Pro in the amateur.
Stop it!
It helps
Stop
me.
it! It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. If you could number them or name them, but do something that makes our jobs easier, please. Martin Capal here, still under pressure from NOPS. The Seven Sim Sports Continuing Racing 2 car have been battling almost all evening. For 26
Battle 15th might be on the cards here.
Bildy has.
Yeah, a bit of battle over the borders between America and Canada could be on for the cards once again. Remember the last time they met on track, there was an accident and Phil went off again.
Yep.
Yep, well, these two have had a bit of a torrid history so far today as we lose a member of our admin
Oh, and
team.
here we go, Ixion making a move on Green Angus Racing, not quite, but they're right on the bumper now.
Oh, that one. I completely forgot about these two, and Jakovic is going to pull alongside on this pit straight. 2 XRRs now. It's going to be a drag race to see who's got the lower downforce setting, and it seems to be fairly equally matched here.
Well, Nicky rarely backs out, so this is going to be scary to watch. Oh, that was very nicely done, actually. He's just gone straight around the outside of turn 1.
Yep, down the inside through turn 2, somewhere you really don't want to end up going through side by side, and Campars knows that, and Niki Jakovic puts Ixion Simsports up to 9th position after effectively starting last with a serious incident.
A grill full of wool before the first tall corner.
Thankfully, LFS's body damage is quite forgiving, isn't it?
Well, you can always assume it looks worse than it is.
Yes, correct. And the amount of weirdly mutated cars you'll see running around today, you'll know that in fact it's not as bad as it looks. Given this car here of Phil Diaz has about 10 chunks out of it, including a completely exposed front right wheel. It's still completely fine, running in 16th place.
Oh, he's also got horrendous amounts of damage on the front right wheel.
Does he?
Yes.
That makes me feel better. Does make me feel better.
In fact, look at his tyre heating as well. He's going to be feeling that damage when it comes to tyre bursting time.
Oh, I cannot wait. He's still looking quite raced though, and in fact might be able to...
He's going to, because Nathan Moss just made a mistake on entry and straight through.
Easy peasy.
Some flashlights, but no big problem there.
I don't think Phil did. I didn't see any contact barriers, and have eyes. We were talking about Phil Diaz and his tyre wear issues, and Oscar, this is a track with potential to have some gravel trap issues, isn't it?
Well, yes, it tends not to be a problem if you're in the naturally aspirated FZRs. They tend to be able to route their way back out of gravel. I guess unless they're losing rear tyres, then they could be having issues in gravel tracks. But then the XRRs, if their front tyres are very likely to go today if they try and push their stints, and if they go and you get stuck in a gravel track, you're not getting back out, and I imagine that's the only way in which we'll be seeing our good old neighbourhood safety car, Stuart Baker, I believe it is today, come back out once again.
Yep, Stuart's actually been very busy this season, hasn't he? He's sat in the pits for way too long, his little foot will be itching. In fact, we forgot, he did in fact spin it last time out, didn't he?
He did indeed. But
we
don't like to dwell on the past.
You still need to take the mickey out.
Very
It's
true.
a Newcastle fan. It's a Newcastle fan. It's the law. You've got to take the mickey out.
I believe that's only if you support a team that's doing statistically worse always, Wilco.
No, we're not. Go and look at the Football League table, please.
I wouldn't want to.
And you will find Sunderland are currently ahead of Newcastle United. You're cock of the north. We are happy. Meanwhile, Phil Diaz, he is certainly not cock of the north because he lives in Florida. But he's starting to put more pressure on Gracia. That's the Scuderia Gas Spaniard.
Oh, and here he goes.
Yeah, a little mistake there from Gracia through the chicane. And Phil could have his chance coming in the final corner. He's in that draft, he's in that pocket of air. That'll propel him into the hole next to him. Down the inside does come Phil Diaz. And this should be a fairly clean pass if he can hold Gracia to his outside, which he does. It's a good tight exit from Phil there as well. Very professional move, very well done move, Oscar.
Yeah, he got a surprising amount of drive off the bottom of the corner. I was expecting him to lose out if he held it that tight, but obviously not.
Phil is a wily old fox in these parts now, isn't he? He's been here for way too long. Always Gracia does in fact go off. Here comes Lamoth's chance to to gain back that time and to try and move up to 15th position for the LLM Pro effort. Also of note that we haven't said yet, LLM's Pro effort currently running in 15th place, just behind Grazier as we can see them. Their amateur effort, 16th rather, sorry, their amateur effort in the XRR is in 6th place. So always up there, absolutely clouts those tyres in the chicane.
Yeah, but that's not something we could expect. I mean, there's always been, since the creation of GT2 World Series, the situations where the amateur teams are actually out-qualifying the pro teams in LLM, which always caused some laughter. So seeing the amateur team running up there in first position of the class is not really something new. It's still worth mentioning.
Well, yeah, but don't.
Oh, sorry, do carry on.
No, go on, Boschman. You take it over. Go on.
Well, I was just going to say, like, talking about Phil Diaz having been around for as long as he has, like, most people in the field, particularly towards the front, have been in LFS for as long as I can remember, really.
Isaac?
Isaac's been around for a good, it must be 3 to 4 years now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must have been. And then I know that Dennis and Morgan, Dommy and whatnot, they've been around even longer than that, so...
Yeah, Dom, Dennis...
I think Dominic has actually been in Live for Speed since birth. That's not,
he's
that's
never
not
left,
from
he's
confirmed
never left.
sources.
He's never left, he just stays in fact, I think Dom might actually be AI.
It's a possibility.
You never know.
When you beat him, does it come up at the top of the screen saying you have beaten the Pro AI? I mean, I wouldn't know because I normally finish roughly 20th.
I've never beat Dominic in my life.
Exactly. Maybe that's the problem that we've got.
So, we are running on board with Knops, driving for January race number 2, looking forward to Kapal and Nesteras, who have been swapping positions, these three, all even. 32 laps driven for these three. And still anything to play for between them, and here in fact does come Knops with a very, very good run. Defensive goes Kapal, up against the white line on the inside, coming down the back straight. But the run from Knops is going to be probably too much. Around the outside, sorry, he comes, manages to cut in close enough to the apex to make it work, and there's the obvious and the way to do an outside overtake through that chicane.
But look at Kapal.
Yeah. No, you never know. Yeah, they're gonna be. No. Okay.
The problem with that XRR is that it's just not as good on the brakes as the other two cars in class. It looks like Kapal might actually be struggling with a bit of grip at the moment as well. All of that's let Nesteras just give himself a bit of breathing room. Just about a second's worth.
For those who watch too much the 24 Hours of Dubai, the amateur class here is not restricted in lap time.
That's because the rules here aren't written by the mentally handicapped.
Oh, of course, Kapal.
Ooh.
And personal best. That's not something you often see in league events. A personal best for. That's a good question. Who?
That's Saki in the 54. So that's a stick breeding program amateur.
And it's already the second today.
Thilo was asleep.
Yeah, in fact, that's a good point. It looks like the lap or so before he set a different
Another one.
personal best.
Yeah.
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 It looks like we're actually getting towards people making their first driver swaps here. The 17 being for Genuine Racing number 2, and the 68 is for Gajda, who's Conquest Racing Amateur. So I'm wondering if maybe this is an early strategy call, in as much as the laps won't quite work out to our stints. So a number of teams could be doing their shorter stint as such at this stage in the race, so that they're not going to have to make another stop later on. So should there, for example, be a safety car between now and the end of the race, or between now and when people make their final stops, these teams who are making driver changes now could be in an incredibly strong position despite not running at the front at the moment.
Good, yes, you're right. Meanwhile, here comes, is it Dupter on Passanen? I think it is, It's Dupter on Passanen. Not able to make it past in that XRR, but certainly tried as Sasha Riga takes over from Knops in the 17 car, the car of Genuine Racing number 2. They make their first pit stop, and away they go.
And there you are, finally got the number 68 into the pit lane as well. That's Conquest Racing Amateur. And it looks like Gajda is going to be making an early driver swap with Zuba, rather.
Zuba!
So Neki Darkovic is now relatively close to Dashkevich in the Conquest car.
Yep, meanwhile, Morgan Trolley is not going side by side with someone, he's just a lap on somebody.
No, but Conquest Pro are also going to be making a pit stop very soon, as their second driver, Garbalowski, has just hopped his way onto the server. So
Which
again,
would automatically promote the Ixion car into 7th position.
Indeed it would, as we've had a Passanen take... I know we've had a Tavainen take over from Passanen in the number 52 car, which is... Arthur, thank you. You beat me to it.
Jacob Cooper diving down the pit lane.
That's his second
position.
It's his second stop of the day as well, and you'd have thought that he'd at least try and sort of stagger himself and try and go a little bit longer to make up the time that he lost in his first stop, but obviously not to be.
As Conquest Racing Pro make their way off of pit lane.
Gablowski already lapped by Isaac Price in the NX car.
Yep, we have 12 cars that are officially on the lead lap now. I mean that 11 now. Isaac Price still yet to pit though, so obviously that will change. You're watching Isaac Price now.
Yeah, you couldn't trust Tracker at this point because due to the pit stops, this who's the lap down statistic is not truly right, I think.
Well, it looks to me...
I think in real life, no, not in real life, but in real on the server, they're the top 17 on the lead lap. Seeing that car 55 is still on lap 36.
Yeah, I would search to Thilo on that one and not quote me. Sounds like something Thilo would hate, but I wouldn't. So don't forget, guys, if you want to ask us a question or communicate with us in any way, shape or form, you can. You can either use the LFS forum thread in the general discussion. You can use the NDR or the LFS IRC channels. I'm sure we'll both find it. I think that's it, isn't it? Or you can go at PoshArse for Oscar's Twitter.
It's not my Twitter. You can see what happens, but you won't.
Definitely see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens, but that's not Twitter.
Oh, could be.
Facebook also a way to communicate with us. If you're in the group, at least.
Yeah, meanwhile racing between Mark Powell and Philip Diaz. This is what the tracker calls 11th and 12th place. Server calls 9th and 10th, by the way. Place, yes. But Phil Diaz still looking racy. He hasn't been past Powell yet. And Phil, who hasn't had much race training, he hasn't practiced much. We see Hellenic Racing go into the pit lane ahead of them.
So now for 7th place, actually. Ooh, bit of a wiggle through turn 1 for Phil Diaz.
Yep, the draft just throwing him off a little bit, but it's not going to fade him. Still looking very racy as Phil Diaz as they come under the bridge, down the hill into the left-hander. Turn number 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, now into 4.
Oh, a very, very difficult corner. Easy to drop a wheel and then you're flying into the wall. And then in the chicane, making sure not to clip the tyres, which are actually a very, very rare fixture. You don't tend to see tyres there because they tend to get knocked over. And as we come onto the back straight, the long back straight, here comes Phil's opportunity down the inside. He looks a move he's done several times today, and he's going to do once again. Up into actually 7th place right now for Phil Diaz. Can Kapal fight back? Doesn't look like it. Struggling to get decent drive, but he will have a chance if he's strong on the brakes to get a move into the final corner. Down the inside he looks. Phil Diaz not really making a defensive effort, and justly so, because Kapal is not going to make a lunge. And it's Phil Diaz in 7th place now.
Not for the first time we've seen Kapal taking an early break when following a pro class car.
Yep, and I don't know about you guys, but I am seeing Marabi, that's the 21 car of Stig Breeding Program Pro, with no skin.
He hasn't had a skin all race long.
He's actually going to try and make a move though on Sasha Riegler, skinless or not, and down the inside he goes and there's a position, 16.
Pretty nice move.
Very nice camera perspective there, seeing the exit of turn 2.
Alright, sorry you're about to lose some picture from the stream now if you have not already. I'll keep you updated. We're having a little flood of drivers up front, so we've got Sean Liddon connecting to take over the Virus Pro car that is currently running in 3rd position, and we've got Krasmir Ivanov for Genuine Racing number 1, ready to take over from Dominic Engel, who is currently running 4th. There are a couple of your up front drivers who are getting ready for
Isaac
stops.
Price to the pits, NX to the pits.
Yep, so our race leader, Isaac Price, dives into the pit lane. Let's see what effect that has on the rest of the world. Dennis Lind will go past. He's not going to risk trying another lap. I mean, no, he is going to try and risk driving another lap, which shouldn't be too much of an issue, looking at the tyres on his car. Roland Ozer
Virus also coming to pits.
Yeah, Roland Ozer has taken over for
Jenna also coming to the... Oh, Dom! Coming sideways to the pit lane. Big break there, pulling them all sideways. Fantastic scene.
When you're programmed as well as Dommy is to drive these cars.
Yeah, then you really don't give away any inch of... Dom out of the car, Ivanov now in it, so is Trolley, and Lydon substitutes him.
Got Phil Diaz on pit lane as well. No one is in the server to take over his car for him, so Phil Diaz continuing on for one more stint in the NX Racing number 2 car, as we've got the number 54 Asaki also making a pit stop, and that's for Stig Breeding Probe Amateur. Ray Kingsbury taking over the number 5 LLM Pro car.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Oscar. We have a battle between Ozer and Vidoyas. Side by side they go on a pit straight, and it's easy. It was easy for the FZR to completely drive around the XRR. Something I haven't seen before. On the pit straight, as well as somebody going off into the grass.
Well,
I think it's Jacob Gibbon.
Could have something to do with the tyres not being on temperature yet, at least not fully. While Vidorius is really on the last bits of his tyres. Dorians into pit line, giving his thin tyres the rest they need.
Our leader in pit lane as well.
He overshot the pit lane, he had to reverse to get back into the box. Dennis Lind out of the car. Going to Kovacs.
Yeah, also of note for everybody at home, you used to be able to keep track of the racing by going to tracker.newdimensionracing.com. You can't do that anymore because it's broken. Because Jonathan Palmer doesn't have any good computers anymore, according to Jonathan Palmer. So give him lots of money. Yes, this is a good point. Meanwhile, Vidal and Toth are getting ready to party and have a bit of a dance. And down the inside it goes, and a turn 4 contact is made. Sideways goes Vidal into the gravel trap. Yep. What's that?
Yep, I think you called that one pretty nicely.
By the way, this also means that, of course, our ticker in the top of your screen is not working right. So
I'm fairly sure that they worked that out by now.
Yeah, true, but still, just to get this also said.
Meanwhile, Torf, who we saw making contact just a few moments ago, is now battling with Tarvinen, who I think snuck past as he was recovering. Moravi takes over, sorry, Jagadits takes over from Moravi. Unfortunately, one effect of having no tracker is that I don't think we have any idea what number is what team sometimes. But here comes Todd down the inside through turn one, a little bit of rubbing, a little bit of contact. Tarvinen's trying to hold down the inside, coming through turn two. Todd leaves enough room and manages to make the move stick, or does he? Tarvinen comes back down the inside into turn number three, and this is going to get scary again. Todd covering his exits, holding the inside, holding the position. No more contact. Tarvinen down to 19. Toth up to 18.
Both got a blue flag now though, because the Virus Pro car is behind.
So we've got the track that's slowly getting up again. It will take a couple of laps until it's up working proper again. But well, it's there. It's living. It's alive.
If it was alive, I'd be quite scared. Actually, they were more intelligent than I am. But it's working. That's the main thing. Yes, it's working now, so people should be able to keep track of what's happening by using tracker.newdimensionracing.com.
I think we've got a guest here, do we?
We will in a minute once he decides to come out and play.
Okay.
So while we wait, we'll watch Ray King to use Isaac Price's draft down the pit straight. And we'll also watch Flores, who's taken the car over from Gracie of the Scuderia Gas racing team, attempt to be caught by Hardwick Racing behind them as we wait for Dennis to pass on. And in fact, Dennis has lost, and here he is, Mr. Lind. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you? How was first stint?
It was good. We did a save job on the first stint, so yeah, I'm quite. What's it called?
Happy?
No.
Pleased?
Satisfied, I guess.
That is fine. There we go. Good adjective. So you have Cooks in the car now. The issue is, I, as an idiot, don't know how long this race is going to be. I don't know how many stints. I don't know what's happening. So, what's happening? Are you going back in at any point?
Oh yeah.
The stints?
I don't know if I'm in for 3 more hours or just 2, but the race should be around 5 hours for your intel.
Writing that down as we speak.
But if there's safety cars, you know, it might be a bit longer. If we have like 10 in a row, it might be 7 hours or 12 hours even. But I'm hoping that we stay clean for the rest of the race. I think everybody did a good job getting out the way.
Meanwhile, to interrupt you, around the outside on the pit straight and into turn 1 goes the Hellneck Racing team car around the outside of Scuderia Gas. They hop into 15th place to Hellneck Racing in the XR. And Dennis, the XRR seems to be, as it always is here at Westhill, the choice, the positive choice to go with. Has it been easy enough to drive today?
It's been I've had about one or 2 days to prepare myself in the car, so not enough practice for this round. We were going to choose the FZR, but it just proved to be massively slower than the XRR in this combo. So.
Yeah, and actually in recent years there has been a massive trend going from FZR being the majority almost into XRR being the majority. Where's that come from, you know?
I wouldn't call it bad restrictions, but in this particular season, the FZR has been proved quite inferior compared to the XRR. Not taking away anything from the drivers who chose the XRR. I think it was just a lack of what do you call it? Like inspection of which cars were quicker. Because if everyone knew what car was quicker, they would obviously go with the one they either liked the best or the one which was quickest. So I think we now chose the car that was quicker instead of what we liked the most. And right now we're just trying to get points.
Sorry to interrupt, but we've had a big incident between
Hellenic Racing and Last But Motorsports Pro.
Yeah, LLM have been off, and so have Hellenic, who we saw making the move earlier in turn 1. Very strange place to go off. And according to our wise sources, it was a mistake from Ray Kingsbury. The total collected the Hellenic Racing car, but Ray still
look at the Hellenic Racing car. How it nearly looks like
a mashed potato.
Really, yeah, true.
Yeah, Thilo, with his potatoes, it's certainly mashed. If it's anything, it's not boiled. Not roast. Gotta be mashed. Yeah, Dennis, so was putting the Infinity Sports amateur car running the FZR, was that sort of to split your strategies? If one was going to work, you'd have a lovely car, and if you're the one, you would still have a lovely car? Was that the idea behind it, or was it just whichever the drivers preferred?
Well, it was. I don't have much influence in what car the M car or M team drives with. We came to an agreement in the Pro team that we were going to scrap one car since we didn't have the personnel for it, and we agreed to just take the car and work up some experience with the car, because really this is the first season that I've drove with the first time ever I've drove a proper GT1 XRR.
How are you finding it? Fun?
It's a bit too easy to drive to call it a race car, but it's okay.
Oh, bless. Too easy. Yeah. So finally, before we let you get back to your team, Dennis, as I'm sure most of you know, is quite avid in the real life racing community, and 2013's racing season must surely be coming up quickly. What have you got in store? What's happening?
Well, there's a few surprises, but for now I'm just going to say that it's going to be the same as I've raced this year, which was the Camaro Cup, which is now called Thunder Cup, because we received the new engine, and Mustang chassis is going to be another option as a shell for the car. Yeah, so it's going to be a good series. A lot more cars this year. And we are going to plan on only doing the Danish season this time, so we stay away from biased Prix. So yeah.
All right, fantastic. We wish you the very best of luck both tonight and in the coming weeks in racing season. I'm sure I'll take the mickey out of you on your Dennis Lynn fan page on Facebook, which you're more than welcome to go and like. I'm sure he'd appreciate that, even though it's not really a fan page because he's running it himself. That isn't a fan page. If it was a fan page, the fans would run it. I'm not going to run it for you.
You could run it for me, no problem.
No, it's fine, Dennis. You run it yourself. You run it yourself, and yes, thank you very much, Dennis. Dennis Lynn, everybody.
Take care of yourself, guys. Have fun.
And now joining us, we've got fun here. We've got Dominic Engel. Hello, Dominic. How are you? Good. How was your stint then? You've been in the car for about an hour. How's it gone?
Interesting. It's been the first time since I think 11 months that I started a race, a GTR race, and it was very intense at the start, but I had the luck to be left alone after the first like 5 to 10 minutes, so I just could drive on my own, which was a pretty important part. You know, tackling the car in 4th place. I think it's not a bad position for any eventual safety cars we'll probably get.
Not at all. Just quickly before we go on, we have in fact just reached the quarter distance with, as we say with Next Racing, number 1 leading the race. Go on, Thilo.
Also a battle for 11th position between Phil Diaz and Sasha Riegler. Yeah, how much pain did you get from your tyres throughout the stint? I saw that you were not really happy about the tyres' performance when exiting the car.
No, the tyres are... Well, it's weird because the difference between... You can run the shortest things here with, I don't know, doing 35 laps, 36, maybe even a short 33, which usually should work better for the FCR. When scheduling the race before the season, making a 1,000 kilometers length 200 laps, I thought it would open more room for different strategies because the tyres would be a bigger problem wear-wise, which they aren't. It's actually the opposite. It's more like the tyres are lasting too long, and well, if you want to have any kind of pace in the heat peak, you've got to put so much pressure into them, and they have absolutely no temperature at the very end of the stint, which makes the car not feel too great in the slow corners, I have to say. It's plenty, well not understeer, but plenty of oversteer if you get the throttle wrong, out of mainly the slower corners. So, yeah, it depends really what you're going to do, what you have done with the setup. I was very surprised personally to see the cars in front of us go longer than I did, but yeah, that's just the way it worked out.
Yeah, but you got back from your qualifying position as well. You started 2nd, and it was a very, very busy start, but we didn't really see much going on at the head of the field. What happened from your perspective, man?
I don't know, I had an okay start, but well, enough to not be instantly attacked by the cars behind me, so I had to let Isaac go very soon. I had to let Dennis go after turn 4 when he had the inside line, and I even got overtaken by Conquest, although I got him back I think half a lap later. So yeah, I don't think I did much wrong, it's just that they did nothing wrong either.
Yeah, when everybody does nothing wrong, that's when we have the most fun, I think, isn't it? Yeah, so what's happening through the rest of the race, and who's running the rest of the race for you guys?
Well, Grassie's in the car now. He should be joined by Robin later, or well, I hope so at least. And they will probably run the race to the end. I'm not planning to go back into the car. It was just an emergency solution that I should do the start because I was originally planned for the first stint.
Yep, you see a little bit of lag in front of your car actually. Toff in front, who is in front of the back marker, with a little bit of lag there. Also of note, you're watching a battle between Philip Diaz in 11th and Sasha Riegler in 12th. That's Inex Racing number 2 and Genuine Racing number 2.
Yeah, and up in front of them there's Campos from Green Angus Racing.
Yeah, so finally before you go, Dom, it's not been particularly open up in the front. The first 4 or 5 places have been very spread out throughout the entire race. You're sitting in 4th at the moment, and where are you going to end up here? What's going to happen for Genuine Racing throughout the rest of this race?
Well, anything between 1st and 4th would be nice, obviously, to not slip down any further. As I said, the position losses at the start, I knew that was going to happen, because I'm not the fastest of us 3 anyways. But yeah, we're just trying to keep our heads and just drive and see what happens. I mean, it's hard to predict the race here at Westhill, especially when you can have a safety car here mid-race and you never know when it's going to happen. So I guess we'll just have to wait.
Fantastic, thank you very much, Dom. You're going to stop with us here?
I might still.
Oh, fantastic. I would hug you, but I can't, because I can't reach.
Okay.
We'll get back to the racing. And it's still we're watching this battle, but I have my eyes on my separate screen on the battle for 2nd place between Sean Lydon and Kovacs as Lydon tops the wheel there on the grass. Up in the battle for 2nd place, as I said. Lydon for Virus, who have been in 3rd for a considerable amount of time, even before the pit stops, seem to be fairly racy here, I think. And provided Sean doesn't make too many more mistakes, it's on.
He gained over 3/10 of a second in the last split.
Prediction is you should have a draft from the start-finish straight if Kovacs has a bit of a bad exit from the last turn. No, it's a short have an exit from the last turn. Great.
Yeah, it was a decent enough exit for Kovacs, managing to hold on and keep the gap he had.
Yeah, though of the past lap, 4/10 of a second was the time Lydon gained.
There's also a battle for 5th position between Core Racing Pro and Ixion Sim Sports Pro, between Nick Dakovic and Lekin.
It's all kicking off now, and Jakovic there trying to get up into 5th place after his charge through the field. And past he goes, he should be able to keep Usala behind him, because Usala will be in so much draft he'll probably die. In fact, no, he doesn't die, but he loses some time as Lydon struggled there through the chicane, getting a little bit squiffy and losing a lot of time to Kovacs in front of him, so that one has somewhat petered out for a while.
It's going to take him at least a lap or 2 to get back up to the back of the Infinity car again. It's just a problem with a track like this where the draft is so, well, it's great if you want to overtake, but it also ruins any kind of close battle through corners. Yeah, one mistake can hide a battle here for quite a long while actually.
Kingsbury and Toth as well, also battling away, or getting on to battling away for 15th place, and Kingsbury, who's been in the wars, and Toth, who's been in the wars. Here, draft for Toth, down the inside he comes on the pit straight, he'll have the inside for turn number 1, but he doesn't need that because he's completely driven past it.
Whoa! With a little slide there at the exit for Kingsbury.
Yeah, but according to popular culture, or IRC, it was in fact something like that that caused the incident between him and that FXR from earlier on. So
the compression of carts in turn 1 is pretty immense. I mean, you've got to think you'd go flat out through a pretty.
By the way, middle for a second.
250
Kovacs
km an hour.
hit a tyre which was lying there on the street, and now
Yeah, but
Lydon
here
has
comes
got it.
Lydon down the inside, coming into the chicane, hard on the brakes, and it's going to be quite an easy move for Lydon to make unless Kovacs fights back. He does, trying it around the outside, cuts back a little bit through the second apex. Lydon running a little bit wide, touching the grass. He's going to have dirty tyres for the final corner. Kovacs still attacking, still wanting to be through.
Contact.
Holding that back, contact between the two. Lydon there on the white line, defending for his life. Kovacs still on the charge, still trying to fight. A little bit of a twitch there from Lydon, nearly running onto the grass. Kovacs will have the draft, Thilo.
Yeah, now they are diving towards the pit's wall. Kovacs now down to the inside. He will make the full pass before the turn. Into turn one.
A little bit of lag there. Kovacs in the worst possible moment as they were going side by side down the straight. Lydon now hits the draft and will have to wait on his turn again. Wait until he can close the gap a little bit more. Knops and Diaz, so that's Riegler and Diaz in real life, have also had a little bit of a coming together in the chicane.
See, Phil's car's not got the best of camber settings from the right front, thanks to a bit of wishbone damage there.
Oh, Kovacs has hit the tyres and off he goes! Kovacs into the
he's
tyres.
so lucky. He's so lucky to not have massive damage, but that bit he has on the right rear, that could already be enough to upset the car's handling. That plus the very hot right front tyre that he has now.
Yep, and that is not in fact Dennis Lind, because I've just been talking to him. I think I said it's Dennis Lind. No, it's not, as I say, it's Kovacs, and he has been heavy into the wall down to fourth.
It's surprisingly little damage from what I've seen the impact was. So
Must have
pretty
hit
lucky
it at
there.
a really lucky angle to not get a massive damage from that, because usually the impact's like 170, 160 kph, even if you spin a bit to scrub off speed in that chicane.
Yeah, and we were talking about damage in the game, or should I say simulator, because you'll all have a rage at me, and about the way that it works. And you know, if you're going to collide with a wall and you know you're going to collide with a wall, how do you handle the car as a seasoned professional, Tom? Head on, back.
Head on. Either head on, or you try and, well, let's say on a street circuit. When you have a big slide, you know you're gonna slam the wall with the rear. You always try and get the car to angle where you only touch it with the rear quarter. If you go off head on, always try and get the car into the barrier head on.
Wow.
You'll have a happy day with driving on without damage and only a few flat spots on your tires.
Very strange system, actually, isn't it? But if it works, it works.
It's a rather basic system. I wouldn't say it's a strange system, it's just very basic. And if you, for example, in iRacing or in R-Factor or in... actually those are the only two I know it is that like that. If you drive head on into a wall in a front engine car, your engine won't be very happy with that, nor will your cooling system or anything else.
Yeah, that's the advantage of having no support systems being simulated.
Meanwhile, Riegler going down the inside of Campars into the second of the two chicanes. Much harder on the brakes. Job done. Easy peasy. Phil Diaz will try and go through as well at some point. So watch this space.
Surprised they did Phil have that damage when he took the car over, or when he started this stint?
He started the stint with damage because he actually made this damage in the first stint he did. He's on a double stint.
I'm surprised he didn't repair that, because that's not the very good damage to have, a right front camber, because his tyres were completely in the middle.
Yeah, that was what Oscar also said earlier. He had this first few laps of partying, I would say. Being off once and then trying to overtake the Last Lap Motorsports car of Plymouth, and again being off into the wall. So.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't cost him any time, I can't see why he wouldn't repair it.
Well, the question is, does he know that he's losing that much time of it? I mean, he just started practicing 10 minutes before the race started.
Well, I have to say, as fast snap isn't what a pro class XR expect to do as a fastest lap. Then yeah, if he doesn't have a practice, he probably doesn't even know how the car feels or is meant to feel without damage. Which can be an advantage situations like this, to be honest.
Well, at least he said so right before the race in TeamSpeak, so the question is how much joking was involved in this sentence he said.
Did he say he didn't practice at all?
Yeah, he said that he, when we were on TS earlier, before the race, all together in the lobby, he said, yeah, well, I'm now taking my first practice laps.
I think he was serious.
Okay. Was rather a suboptimal drive through the chicane for Campars. The NX car now closing in, not close enough though for an overtake. But close enough to lose some grip on the front of the car.
He just got the first bits of the drop right before the end of the straight. Is obviously the way around. You don't want it.
Yeah, you want the draft at the exit of after the exit of corner, not before the entry. Pace is about equal currently, it seems.
The advantage of Campars tyres are all pointing in the right direction.
But that's actually regular those who have just passed there, gentlemen. Yeah,
yeah, it looks like he's had a bit of an off in turn 4, so saw him rejoin the track very, very slowly. It didn't have an impact, because you would see it on the car, but
he didn't even cross the yellow flag.
Yeah, he must have. My theory is he ran completely off to the left side of the grass and then slowly caught the car and regained control and just slowed down till he reached the other side of the track and just accelerated away again, but it's cost him 2 places.
So now it looks like NX could be... no, not really. This battle is like DTM a few years back, where you really thought, oh, it could work. No, it doesn't.
Do you mean the whole concept?
The whole race is except for Norris Ring, where they all crashed into each other. And Barcelona, where they actually crashed into each other on intention.
Well, that's sort of like over there.
the 11 cars just gotten past the 57. Conquest Pro versus Last Lap Motorsports Amateur. The Yosilla is right back on the rear bumper of Garbalewski there, and he's challenging him for the.
Holy time!
He's
That
gone for
was
a gap that wasn't
that
there.
was dirty. The thing
Meanwhile,
was,
Bill
it
Diaz
was
is on
there.
the inside. Sorry, I'm sorry, but Bill Diaz there trying to have a dive on the inside of Campos, and he touches the grass, and Campos goes. Bill Diaz goes through comfortably. Now, what were you talking about? I'm lost.
We're talking about Garbalewski and not Campos. Yosilla, 11 and 57.
There was actually a gap, but Garbalewski
kind of
wanted
disappeared
to
in the
close
wrong
it,
moment.
and Gisela, instead of backing off, he still tried to force himself into it. That was the situation.
And then he took on to the only asphalt runoff area in LFS that makes sense.
True.
There are two. One of them is here at the last corner, and it's the only one that makes sense.
The other one is the spoon corner of Kyoto Grand Prix.
No, then there's three. I was talking about the top of the hill hairpin on Aston, where it's almost impossible to run out wide.
You don't see driving, so. I can tell you, it's illegal. I've had some hard time not going over to that bit of extra tarmac with all four wheels.
That bit of extra tarmac actually reminds me of the hairpin in Montreal, because it seems like the only reason it's there is because the track was short to have more runoff. Which did happen at Montreal. To help Robert Kubica.
Yeah. So Sasha again at the back of Phil. But there's also the other next car going through this to lap them. Yeah, since Riegler is also a part of your team, how much do you know about their setup and their strategy, which...
Not a lot, I have to admit.
Not a lot, or is there a lot you're allowed to talk about on stream?
Well...
Okay. Yeah, we've got a drive-through penalty for Ray Kingsbury in the Last Motorsports Pro car for...
Is that for the incident with Hellenic Racing Team?
Yes. Yes, it was. It is, actually.
In the HRTFX, I lost a lot of time from it.
Yeah.
It had a bit and everything.
Currently down to 23rd. The Hellenic Racing car.
I have to admit, this is not an FXR track.
Ooh, yeah.
Linton's had an incident with those tyres. Sorry.
Yeah, true, he's slower than he should be from on that straight at the moment.
No, he just climbed at the back end.
He was
contact between the 10 and the 5. 18 and the 5. Kingsbury
unnecessary contact. When Kingsbury has to go into the pit lane for a drive-through. Don't know, those really are unnecessary. But
if
hey.
I'm not wrong, he's to pit within 3 laps of the time when the penalty was issued.
Right. It has been 10 minutes in earlier days, but now, thanks to usually very good working tracker system we now have, it was changed to 3 laps, like in real motorsport.
Not even sure it's 3 laps in every series.
In most, I I think it's even in the FIA sporting code most series are relying on. Ooh, that was a brave move by Talgler. No, it wasn't Talgler. Who was it? Conquest Pro, it seems.
Oh, it was Garbaleschi, yes.
Yeah, Garlowski.
Seems like Ray Kings has some kind of problem with that car, because every time I see him go through turn 1, the car is just scraping along the ground like nothing else I've ever seen. At least it was last time around. I'm not sure whether that's a general setup problem or whether... Because surely it's not like his car lowered itself but on its own.
Yeah. I mean, except for situations like punctures and stuff, but they don't have them.
Well, he doesn't have a puncture, he doesn't have damper damage, that's why I don't understand it. Because damper damage, I can explain it, because the car, the suspension gets compressed more, because the damper only does X amount of the percentage of the work it's meant to do. It doesn't have any damper damage.
And it also does look like some piece of bodywork is deformed in that way.
But we will see now. Well, actually we won't, because there's only drivers, no pit stop.
Yeah. Because I remember seeing here around Westhill and around other tracks where especially Formula cars were so heavily deformed that they were scratching over the ground. And because the parts are not falling apart, they keep on scratching the whole lap until they.
It'd be worse if it was a real life car, it being re-engined. There would probably be a good chance of there being a fire. But
yeah,
in some ways, a good thing. It means your car doesn't burn out. It's also a way to switch off hybrid system.
Yeah, as proven by Ant Technology in the 24-hour race at the Nürburgring. In their beautiful Competizione P4/5.
We know why it's black from the start, so you don't see all the bits out.
It was originally a hybrid car, then there was a fire and it was deactivated. By the way, there's rumors that they are entering an LMP1 car from 2014 on, so they also know how to switch off that hybrid system.
Have we got hybrids in the new LFS update?
I wish.
Hybrids have been in LFS since I can remember, but not
hybrid tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, rain tires in LFS once.
That are the old days I can't remember.
Oh god.
That was an S1. The MRT had an option where you could run rain tires.
Oh dear, what a lapping by Isaac Price there.
Yeah, having to try and squeeze past Roland Dozer and Henry Tarvin and trying to battle it out.
Yeah,
Isaac takes the
Isaac, don't do a McRae. No, McNish, sorry.
Great.
Scottish names.
Go for the World Championship, I have massive crash, and I say, oh, well.
Need the entire issue there with Roland Dozer and Isaac.
You should
Price.
have him here. Should have him here, yeah. Not very happy about honking going on there.
Well, the thing is, if you're at the top, you always see the negative things of drivers, but they are not 100% perfectly letting you past.
Well, when you're the one sitting behind, the red mist comes down, doesn't it? And everything sort of gets blotted and misted by this massive anger, and you just have to be past them. Rah, sort of deal.
Yeah, but you can't say that's necessarily bad or stupid, because I don't think any of the lead drivers would say, oh yeah, I have no problem with being held up behind a lap car for 4 laps, no problem. Have all the time in the world.
Yeah, true.
So it could be worse. I mean, at least the lap car wasn't a Ferrari.
Yeah. And at least the lap car was not some STD.
Oh yeah, I dare not again. A great race that was. It's like, you know, like if Grand Am had decided to put P1 together with GX.
Whoa.
They only went one worse, just trying to combine, I don't know.
There's someone back. I think. At least I've noticed someone getting into the booth again after some break.
Yeah, Oscar, after looking after a child, is now no longer looking after a child.
No, but I am.
He's eaten it or something.
That's not precisely. No, actually, no. I'm only back temporarily because I interestingly need to go and qualify for something myself fairly soon. But I am back.
What series?
Hello.
Oh, I'm driving in a historic F1 series in our factor.
When I heard historic, I went, oh. When I heard
1991 Formula 1.
Oh, okay.
It's not that historic, it's not historic to me.
No, it is.
Well, it's 22 years ago.
It technically is.
It's 22 years ago, Tommy. That's older than you are.
Well,
What track?
perhaps.
It's round.
That's not the track, it's not, well, it's
No,
not
it's round 1 of the season. So it's at Phoenix.
Oh, that's...
The main issue that I have is that I'm in the AGS.
That's an issue.
I'm currently qualified 7th, but there's another
It'd be
qualified
worse,
7th.
it could be in a Lamborghini power.
This is true. Well, there's the Ligiers are a bit quicker than I am in the AGS because I've got some 1980s Cosworth V8 that's got no power.
I mean, from the 9th place, it's the one that Mario Andretti won the championship with.
Yeah, it's like it's
Cosworth DFV.
Yeah, I've got a DFV and it's got, no word of a lie, 100 less horsepower than the Cosworth that the Benetton's got. It makes a massive difference. It is nigh on impossible,
But then again, Benetton's tried to balance that out by running on Pirellis.
this is true.
Yeah, but meanwhile, we
Back
have
to
to
the
take a
action.
very, very short cut on the stream so as to allow us a good on-demand service for you all at home. So we'll be back in just a second.